Alhamdulillah, if you're just joining us, it's now time for our Parenting 101, talking about setting boundaries with our children. And today with me in the studio, I have the very beautiful Maryam Thaoban. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lubnan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, can you briefly just tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, I am Maryam Thaoban. I am a mother and I run a children foundation,
Okay.
Noble Heart Children Foundation. And I'm an entrepreneur and I'm also a student.
Wow, did
In
you hear
brief.
that?
Yes.
MashaAllah. So today we're talking about setting boundaries with our children. I mean, you know, our kids, they know how to push our limits. It's like they are born knowing how to do so.
Yes.
So just briefly tell us, what does it even mean to set boundaries with our kids?
Okay, boundaries simply means, you know, knowing a limit. Your children should not go beyond, they shouldn't cross the limit. Islamically, the Prophet ﷺ, there's a hadith where he was mentioned to have said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us not to go beyond boundaries. That is, there are boundaries that we should not cross, even as adults. So for children, a parent should know that there are these things I cannot allow my children to do, or I shouldn't, due to, you know, it could be
Is it like setting rules and regulations?
Rules and regulations, yes.
But
But then, when it comes to boundaries, even sometimes, you know, you can let them break some rules and everything like that, but then there is just a limit they should not go beyond. So sometimes it's you know, it gets manifested in different ways. That is, you can just say, okay, you get to sleep at this time. So regardless of whatever they're doing, from work, you know, watching of the cartoons or whatever, but then you should not go beyond this time. That is, you have to sleep at so time. So there is that boundary where you have to just set it as a parent, because it is important. Without boundaries, there would be chaos and there would be, you know, a lot of other things that creep in. Yes, exactly.
But then again, how do you know how kids are? How do parents, you know, stick with those boundaries? Because, you know, sometimes you set boundaries and stuff, but then your kids, you know, sometimes they push you to the limit and, you know, you just give up very easily. What would you say to parents? Like, how should they, you know, stick with their boundaries and just, you know, be consistent instead of, you know, breaking down like, oh, I'm done, this kid's,
well, parenting is not all about having to, you know, strictly follow a particular rules already, especially these days. When we were growing up, our parents had lots of boundaries for us and we dare not cross them. Even with a look, with a glance alone, we understand that we are meant to leave so areas. But these days, we tend to give our children a lot of so we are a lot more softer than our parents were, and so we should not beat ourselves up when we find out that our children are doing stuff we do not want them to do, or that we've warned them against, or they're going beyond the boundaries. But the most important thing is that we ensure that they do not keep crossing it, because the children are fond of doing one thing. They would keep testing you with new behaviors, so that they would know whether
if you're okay with it, then they carry on,
and then they carry on with it. So as soon as you see that, okay, he has done this the first time, second time, could be lying, could be just, and the thing is, parents also have to know this. Children pick whatever it is we do. So once you find out that that's boundary you set, that's limit crossed, yes, you look at yourself too. Are you telling the child what you are doing? Are you telling him or her not to do that thing? So you have to be sure that even you are following the exactly. So once you set rules and regulations,
you have to follow
there should be
as
rules
well
for the parent and for the mother, for the father, then for the children. So once you're doing that, they would, you know, they would naturally follow. Yes.
So okay, now talking about when they cross these boundaries, what are the punishments? What is harsh punishment, and what kind of punishment should you give your kids? Basically, when they cross your boundaries, the boundaries you are setting.
Well, let me use a personal experience, for instance. I do not get to punish my kids the way I was being punished when I was when I was little. I give them a lot of like free hands. They get to do whatever it is they want. But then once I change my tone and everything, they know that okay, this woman is serious. So when it comes to punishment, well, I'm not a fan of beating kids. I get to beat my kids, like I lash them when I have to, but not really. Like I do not get to do that like regularly. But a lot of the time, you just have to let them know. Whether you punish them with, they're not going to have the chocolate, they're not going to have some
time out, and
exactly. They don't get to, watch their favorite. The
little freedom they have,
show.
You take it away.
Exactly. And when push comes to shove, if you can, because I'm a typical African mother,
I know.
So if you can, you ask them to kneel down and raise it. At some point, my little boy knows that once he does something, he will just go and kneel down and raise up his hands.
Already, before you even tell him.
Exactly. So you just have to let them know that if you cross this boundary,
I think we already have our
you have to be lenient, and then there's some you just have to be harsh.
Thank you so much. I mean, I've learned a lot from you. I'm a mother too, but I've picked a few things. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, there you have it. It has been our Parenting 101, and thank you. Stick around. We're still around. It's Salaam Ummah, so don't go anywhere.
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for being with us, and
it's time to go.
It's time to go. I mean, it's just like between the blink of an eye, it's time to go.
When we just go really fast. It's like
honestly, when you're having fun, when you're enjoying all the, Imam Najmuddin has been able to
focusing.
Yes. So you see now, you have between your daily prayers and the weekly Jumu'at service, and of course the yearly Ramadan, to be able to atone for your sins. So whatever it is you carry out or over from Ramadan, you keep it flowing. It's not just supposed to stop. All right, so mashallah, it's time to go.
Thank you for joining us, but we'll see you again tomorrow. And we say what?
Ma salam.